Hello and welcome back to the Matrix Green Pill podcast. I'm Hilmarie Hutchison, and today I'm excited to be joined by Zoltan Rendes, the Chief Marketing Officer and partner at SunMoney Solar Group. Zoltan is a climate pact ambassador for the European Union and has been a driving force in the renewable energy space, championing innovative community-based solar programs that empower individuals and create sustainable economic growth. Wow, that's a mouthful. Zoltan, welcome and thank you so much for joining me today.
Hello and welcome everyone. It's great to be here on this podcast. So let's get on with the interesting questions you have for me.
To start, could you tell us a bit about yourself, your background, and how you became involved in the industry of renewable energy?
I'm a marketing and business development professional and more of a strategist, I would say. But I had a big detour in my career for a war correspondent. So I was at war and disaster-torn areas of the world working for network televisions. At that time, I started to work with aid organizations in these troubled zones to try to save an itsy-bitsy part of this world. Then I had my corporate career and executive career, and I would say the usual burnout, which come to the lucky ones. The others stay in doom of corporate life forever. I had the burnout, and I became an entrepreneur with my friends. We started to build this company and upgraded my mission to save the whole wide world. Ever since then, I've been trying to do that, not just in the business level, but also on the nonprofit level. I'm a harsh and loud advocate of the fight against climate change. People turn to me a lot of times that what is my motivation? And I would say my biggest motivation is my son. I'm a single dad. I have a 13-year-old son called Oliver. I just want to leave a better word for him. And I don't want to leave the fight to him. I want to fight for his planet, which we actually ruined a bit in our time. As the main motivation, some people say I'm crazy because it's a fight you cannot win. And I say you cannot fight for sure if you don't start it. So we need to try to win this fight, even if it seems to be an unbeatable foe at this point. But I think it's not, actually. So I think we can do this and we can deck the challenges climate change brings.
Yes, at least make some impacts, at least make a start. Wow, what an interesting career, what an interesting background, all the way from a war correspondent involved with aid organizations. And then I love how you say being burnt out in the corporate world made you one of the lucky ones, because that gave you a reason to get out of the corporate world and then enter the world of entrepreneurship and also non-for-profit organizations, and then to advocate for something that you truly believe in. And as many parents, I think your motivation being your son is something that we all share, that we want to leave a better world, and you are actually taking steps towards making that happen. And even if it's a small change, as you say, it's better than not making a change at all.
Yes, also, it seems to be, from a bird view perspective, it seems to be an impossible mission, I would say. It's a Don Quixote fight. But as I roam the world and meet with people, there are more and more people who feel the same. And I think everybody's feeling the effects of climate change now. And like we feel that weather is weird these days. And even in Europe, currently I'm in Europe. I'm a double resident of Dubai and Budapest. Weather is really weird, even in Europe, which traditionally stayed out of the climate change thing for the last couple of years. There has been incidents which are extreme. And this year has broke every record in terms of heat waves, violent storms, and all that. Also in the Gulf, we can see that something is changing. More rain is coming to the Gulf, which is unusual. Even snow and weather patterns fundamentally changing. So I think everybody's feeling it. So more and more people don't look at it as something impossible anymore. And that's a good feeling for me.
Yes, I think awareness is so important, because once people become aware and they're noticing these things, then they are more likely to be on board with being part of the change, or even making a small change in their own lives to work towards a solution.
To fight climate change, you need motivation. Look at politics. There is always something more motivating than dealing with climate change or the effects of climate change. It's immediate problems, of course, political fights, petty fights sometimes within the EU, and also a lot of course, war, financial crisis, whatever. Everything is always more important, and there's no motivation. So we need to give the people motivation to fight against climate change. I put out the question for you. What is the biggest motivator currently for the people of this world?
I would say for most people, it's probably money.
It is money. I'm not the only one who thinks that we need to change the direction of the flow of money so it flows into good things rather than feeding traditional poor things in terms of business, which are not that sure anymore, to be honest. So we need to motivate people with money. We need to show them, teach them, and make them enjoy the benefits of all the good things which are good for the planet too, like renewable energy.
Yes, so reward people for making the right decision.
Yes.
I think that's a good segue maybe into talking a bit about SunMoney Solar, because I know it is a unique community-based approach to solar energy. Can you explain how this model works and how it differs from traditional solar energy projects?
What we do at SunMoney Solar Group is we build or buy solar power plants. These plants go into a pool of capacity. Capacity is watt, megawatt, that's capacity. Anyone basically from the world can buy into that capacity by the watt. If you buy capacity with us, we are maintaining and supporting the solar power plants. We are selling the electricity on your behalf as well. And you get your share of revenues based on the size of your buy-in every month. That's a community solar power model we use. And it's available in a normal form, like in the fiat financial world. But it's also available now in tokenized form on blockchain. So people can buy in on blockchain too through the SDBN tokens, which are basically the same community solar power plant model on blockchain. Currently, we have 50,000 members in this community solar, which makes us the biggest community solar in the world, from 60 countries and I think from 5 continents as well.
I know that empowering youth is a big part of your mission. Can you maybe share some success stories of young entrepreneurs who have leveraged solar energy to drive climate action and build sustainable businesses?
I would start from a different angle, but I will end that at your question. When I roam the world and talk to people, I really love to talk to kids. I've been at universities. Of course, those are already young professionals maturing up and kind of understanding the challenge they will face in their lives. Then middle school is also amazing to talk to those kids because they are opening up already to the world and they understand as well. But what I really love is talk to elementary school kids. These kids, I would risk the statement that they know more already than 60-70% of the adults about climate change. And that's amazing. They know about renewable energy. And we are talking about 6th graders. They know about electric cars, why solar energy is good, why they have to recycle. These kids know everything. Those are the generations which will grow up and get socialized in a world which is in chaos, I would say, a bit these days, and does not address a problem which will affect their life. They will address it, and they will push us out. They will blow away UN and EU if they don't do something. These kids are going to take over, and they are already much smarter than some of the politicians. And I believe that we need to take care of our youth, not just in a financial way or to promote entrepreneurship, but to save that attitude for when they become adults, because we need their attitude. We need their knowledge. We need that generation who grows up in that environment, because they are going to make radical changes to how we live now, to this chaos. They're going to clean up the planet. Everything which will stand in their way, they're going to blow it away with their smarts, not with weapons, with their smarts. They are just so smart already about this. That kind of warms my heart and gives me a lot of inspiration. And also young entrepreneurs, to get back to your question, we are always on the lookout for young entrepreneurs. We are helping university programs and university research to mostly these days for recycling and for water treatment or scalable low energy consumption water treatment. That's very enjoyable. We will see where we get. We don't treat it as a business with these youngsters. It's our role that we can help them with some knowledge and also market and business knowledge and also knowledge about the field or the industry. We see where they get. And if they need, of course, need financials or they want to go to market, we can help them. But we don't look at them, we don't look at ourselves as investors or incubators. We help people a lot. All three of us as owners of this group are very helpful people. And we believe in helping people even without getting back anything. And we hardly say no if youngsters approach us with their projects. I really believe that it's almost a mandatory thing for someone on this planet now who is a human being to do that. We don't expect anything back.
Each of us has the responsibility to be part of the change.
Yes, I totally agree. And I always say that make no mistake, this planet will survive. The only question is, which we have to answer, if it survives with or without us. This planet is perfect. It's going to equalize, and it is equalizing how we hurt or damage the harmony of the equation of nature. If we stand in the way and not helping that equalization of this amazing, wonderful system around us, which we are part of, then it's going to erase us. Not because it's evil, but that's the way how all the sciences work. That's the way balance works. I think a lot of people don't understand that. The only thing we can change is our attitude ourselves towards this. Otherwise, we are just going to be standing in the way of something bigger. If we get to that, we cannot win. There are a lot of examples of how we cannot win. Like look at a couple of weeks ago in Valencia, one cold drop, as they call it, these sudden rainfall storms, and how many people died in a flash. We are not looking into damage of infrastructure or damage of roads or cars anymore. We are looking into losing human lives. And life is the greatest gift we will ever get. We need to protect life, whatever it costs. Somehow we forget or forgot that we need to protect it. Protecting it means that we need to care about our environment, because ultimately these things are getting, more and more frequent in the world. And that means ultimately we're going to have way more casualties. Of course, this is not as spectacular as a lot of things in the world, which has immediate casualties. But we are talking about, for instance, pollution. And I tell you an example which surprised me when I look at statistics. Sometimes I just feel like, wow, every kind of pollution, so air pollution, ground and water pollution, is responsible in a way for 10% of the fatalities in the world. And it's frightening, the worst thing which can happen to a country or a region. We are in war. The whole world is in war. We are losing a lot of people in the biggest war humanity ever fought. And we are not addressing it. That makes me sad and makes me feel stupid. We are smart. Humanity is smart. We overcame big challenges in the history of mankind. We overcame everything. And somehow now we are not looking at the problem or just don't want to acknowledge the problem, because we can overcome this. We have all the smarts we need to overcome this. And somehow we turn our backs, or at least a big part of the world is back on the problem. And especially people who are responsible for whole countries and societies and regions and communities.
So important to be part of the solution. I love the solution that you've created. As you say, each one of us has the responsibility to make a change. And I love how you have taken solar energy. That's one of the solutions, right, to the problem. It's not the only solution, but to create a more sustainable future, solar energy is one of the solutions. And you've made that available to everybody so that everybody can take part in this. And as you say, let them also have an opportunity to benefit from making a good choice. I think that is what we call a win-win situation that you've created. So that's excellent. And I'm so excited that I've heard about this and know about it. I'm so sure our audience is going to be out looking at the different ways they can take part in being part of the solution. Now we've come to the segment of our show. We'll ask you some rapid fire questions. What role would you say solar energy plays in achieving a more sustainable future for the planet?
I think that's easy. It's a major player in that sustainability game. With solar, it's basically unlimited energy coming every day to us. With the battery technology, which is also improving every day, new technologies out, which can hold more for longer time. It is the future. And also wind and non-invasive water power is also the future. So all these are there. I would say it's almost endless. Like I don't know the future, but there are a couple of million years of proof that the sun will come up tomorrow. I can really would bet on it that this will be on.
That the sun is there tomorrow. Excellent. Yes. In which countries can people partake in the solution that you've created?
Any country. We don't have, we have the regular restrictions like any company would have with the sanctioned countries, of course. We have clients or members from 60 countries on 5 continents. So we really don't restrict anyone to join us, just the sanctioned countries.
Now, let's say somebody says, you know what, I don't have the resources to be part of the solution that you are now creating. It sounds great, but I just don't have the ability to partake of that. What small change can every single person make in their day-to-day lives that would have a positive impact on the environment and the planet?
I could say a lot of things, but I'm only going to say one. It's be open up to the world, to the future. Don't hide from what's happening out there. Open up and try to be positive and bring positivity to your environment. That's the biggest step, and that step we need. It's not just an environmental problem. And part of the cause for the environmental problem is a psychological problem, a mental state of the world we live in currently. A closed up, individualist world. Happiness is virtual a lot of times on social media. We are forgetting that there are other people and it's good to be with other people. We forget to risk our emotions and we forget to love. And that is the most important thing for this world. It's ultimately money is just motivation. Ultimately, it's not money which is going to change the world. Ultimately, it's going to be love which will save the world as we again find each other on this mud bowl and start to work together for a better new world. Of course, anyone can say that only happens when something drastic happens in the world, that people come together. I have bad news. It's happening and we will come together. And if not the easy way, then we will come together the hard way. But I really, really recommend to everyone to stop for a minute or a second every day. Think it over. How big of a privilege is to be alive. Acknowledge that we are alive. Like, how great is that? It's an amazing gift we got. Then from there, it's easier to be open to the next people. It's easier to smile. It's easier to ask the doorman, how are you? Or the bartender, whoever you meet through the day. I'm talking about my day now.
So to be open, I think that's excellent advice. To be open to various things. I think that's very, very good. I know you travel a lot. You've mentioned you've been all over the world. You travel a lot. You talk to a lot of people. You've been in so many places. What is your favorite vacation spot?
Lately, I've been traveling a lot with my son. I want to show him the world. So we are going from one corner to the other to show him the diversity and the wonders of this planet and how people live in different cultures and, of course, with different religions. I'm trying to make him a very open person, and I'm successful, I think. And I would say he's in love with Dubai, so he loves to spend time with me there. And we lived there for a while, and now we are back and forth between Europe, but he's waiting always for going to Dubai. He loves it. But I think our current favorite, we are going to several places next year too. But current favorite is Tanzania and Zanzibar. We spent the summer there and we were going on a beautiful safari and seeing Ngorongoro crater is just the cradle of life. It was amazing for both of us. And all those animals in their natural habitat, these majestic creatures. But I kind of like, and we kind of like anything which has salty water around it. So not the kitchen. We like the kitchen too, but anything with sea or ocean is a good place for us. As you can imagine, I spend my year in among a lot of people. I meet a lot of human beings, which I'm happy about. But sometimes you get filled up and you want to just get into some very private place and just do nothing. And we have these places at the Mediterranean seaside where we like to go, where I like to go and just spend a week or two doing nothing, swimming in the sea, not working, not taking up all the phone calls and not answering emails, cooking, drinking good wine or whiskey, and make some delicious food from what nature has given us from the sea and from around the area. And I really enjoy those simple things too. And it's how I unwind in my life. And then we have these adventures, and always the last one is the favorite. So we do these adventures frequently and going to a place of the world or a region. We cover that region. And, it's traveling is an amazing thing. You gain knowledge through traveling.
Oh, it's an education. There's no doubt. But I know when I take my daughter out of school for a few days here and there for traveling, I always say she learned more from the traveling than she would sitting on a school bench. There's no doubt.
Yes, meeting these wonderful people. And I like him to be like me, that sometimes you need to approach people and talk to them. And people are generally very nice when you start to talk to them and have a conversation. And you get to know so much more about that country than in a five-star hotel or a big resort. I wouldn't say I have a real favorite. I love to travel. I love the Gulf. Favorite places is always a desert. I love deserts. Oliver loved the big, endless sea of sand. I like to just, when I'm in the Emirates, I like to go to either the empty quarter or to Labab up in Ras Al Khaimah and just sit there. It's amazing. It's almost like really looking at the ocean. Been to many of these seas of sand in the world. So those are favorite places. Any ocean, any sea, anything on this planet. I think of myself, and I want my son to think of himself as an inhabitant of a planet, not a citizen of a country. I'm a human being from planet Earth, and that's the only category I want to be in.
You're right. I love Zanzibar. It's beautiful. Tanzania is beautiful. And you're really getting back to nature. I think that's what makes it so special. There are some beautiful hotels in that, but to really get back to just pure nature, there's nothing like it. So that is one of my favorite places as well. So I can relate to you enjoying being there.
Amazing place.
What is one thing you do every day, no matter how busy you get?
One thing I do every day is make that moment or second when I think through that I'm alive. Some people call it meditation. I don't like to be that flashy. I like to think of it as part of our existence, to sometimes just think about bogus things like our existence. So I always have a moment for that, to make that realization in my head that I'm alive, and how great is that. That's why I think I'm always smiling. I'm a very positive person. I'm very optimistic about the future. People find it suspicious sometimes. Why is he smiling all the time? But I think it's part of that I do this reset every day. I'm just happy that I'm here. I want to use this opportunity, to be grateful, not in the spiritual sense, but to be really grateful and give back to life.
Yes, and I think it's that gratitude, like you say, to reflect on what you have. And when you've got gratitude, when you practice gratitude, then it makes you more happy somehow, because you recognize what you actually have versus what you don't have.
Yeah, and sometimes it's enough just to live. Sometimes you don't need more. When there are bad times and you are bit beaten and you feel beaten at least, or you feel down, it's enough to live. Sometimes a day doesn't have to be more, or doesn't have to be about more. I lived this day and I had this day and I just took a deep breath. Tomorrow, sun will come up. There will be a new day. Do better, or maybe even change the past or past mistakes. So a lot of people are lost in anxiety and worries. And I understand, I'm very empathetic to that. But also, You cannot really change what happened if you have anxiety, or if you just close up in that anxiety, you will have no effect on your future. People should realize that it's a bit of a bogus thing if we have life. Life is amazing, and people in this world live without a lot of things which are, we say in our civilized countries or in our flashy homes, that we say that I cannot live without this ice cream. We say these very, very bogus things out sometimes. People live without way more, and they are still happy. In Tanzania, my son turned to me one day and said to me, like, Daddy, these people have nothing. Really, really low down houses to a European eye. They have no money to go abroad to visit another country, but still they are happier than the people in Europe. And I said, you just realized what's wrong with the world. That in our culture, in back here, when we have something, we want more. We never stop that we are okay now. We are grateful for what we...
Statistics show that we are the most wealthy people ever lived. We live longer than ever. And yet it's the most dissatisfied generations that we're raising. It just doesn't make any sense.
Doesn't. It makes me sad, but also motivates me that we need to do better. We need to share the message. You know, it's all right if you just have life for one day. It's all right to live without 3 supercars. It's enough. It's all right to travel and you stretch yourself for the best hotel where this movie was shot and everything, just to have that one post. You stretch yourself financially. Why do you do that? Why don't you just enjoy? Find a good spot which is in your cost bracket and book that, and you're going to be happier.
And to show off for people that don't actually like. That's the crazy part. Okay, so thank you very much for playing along. That was easy enough, took a little longer. Now I'd like to ask you our signature question, our green pill moment question. If you took the green pill to go back in time and change one thing about your journey, what would it be?
I would skip the corporate part. I wouldn't skip the wars. It gave me a lot of knowledge and skills in terms of decision making, in terms of seeing through things quickly and making the connection between things and putting them in context. So I wouldn't skip that. I would skip the corporate part, start earlier. I think that's what I do. I don't regret anything in my life. I don't regret the corporate part, of course. But if I could do one thing again, then I would skip that part, start with.
Yeah, not waste your time on that part. Yes, that makes sense.
Yes.
What a story, what a life you've had. You've accomplished a lot. You are making a difference in the world. You are making it so that normal, everyday people can be part of this journey and know that they are making a difference, what they have.
Thank you for saying that. I'm also everyday people. I'm just one human being, and I'm a living proof that one human being can do a lot. And that's a good example to set.
I'm sure our audience is going to be so inspired by your story. So thank you for being here and for sharing your fantastic story with us today. Before we say goodbye, though, could you please tell our listeners where they can find and follow you? And then we'll also put this in the show notes.
You can find us. Our webpage is www.sunmoney.com. And we have Facebook and Instagram for SunMoney Official. Look for both. I'm very frequent to our social media. I don't use my private social media as an account for promoting anything. I do it fully with the company. That's where I am. And also you can find me on LinkedIn. If you have something immediate to say to me, then it's Zoltan Rendes, and I'm there on LinkedIn, and you can reach out there too.
Thank you so much. And I wish you and SunMoney all the very best. I will definitely be following your journey and see where it takes you. Thank you again for being here today.
Thank you very much. And we are actually setting up a nonprofit too. It's called We Are Endangered Species. And if you go on that website, weareendangeredspecies.com, you can already subscribe for further details on what's coming up. We are not planning a very regular nonprofit. We are not going to ask for your money. We are going to ask for your effect on your community, how you can engage with community on topics which are hard topics to explain. That's weareendangeredspecies.com.
Thank you very much for sharing that. We are endangeredspecies.com.
Yes.
So audience can find you there as well. Super. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. It was great to talk to you, and good luck with the Green Pill podcast. And I hope a lot of people will take that green pill and wake up to a better world, or at least as a better human being to make this world better.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. Now, to all our listeners, please remember to hit that like, share, and subscribe button to keep up with all the latest podcasts and to listen to more such inspiring and informative stories.
If you enjoy our conversations, please like and subscribe. See you next Wednesday.